Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. Today, the death of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, for me, particularly in terms of his early life, was just so inspirational. He was so much the kind of revolutionary that I would like to see vastly more of in contemporary American culture, and he resonated with me strongly in terms of his political views, but also in terms of his opposition of a repressive state. I reflected heavily on my own experiences of repressive states and repressive adults and just general repressiveness, and from this I've formed my unauthoritarian views, certainly when I'm not working in a corporation, which is still a slight majority of my time, but the remaining time, yes, I'm within a corporation. I have to fulfill the obligations of the corporation. In contemplation of the death of Muhammad Ali, the day after he passed, my wife and I went to a local lake in an area called Livermore. It's actually like a defence science facility, the outcrop of a defence science facility, but it's a relatively nice part of the world, and it has a lake in an area called Del Vale, which my wife and I have a lot of time for. We went down to the lake, we proceeded to put out our beach towels. I wasn't going in the water, it wasn't really that hot. It's just nice being down at the lake, applied sunscreen. My wife did go in the water. When she first went in the water, a group of 16-year-olds, maybe 18-year-old lifeguards, male and female, walked past me. And what I found particularly fascinating was the kind of expletives that they were using, but also as a large group of Caucasians, in the age group, as I noted, 16 to 18, they used the N-word considerably. Basically, typically every fourth to maybe sixth word was the N-word. And I just thought to myself, this is a generation that has not been touched in any way by Muhammad Ali. This is a generation that might have had 5 minutes, if they were lucky, in school associated with Muhammad Ali, but he's certainly not being taught to these 16 to 18-year-olds, and his message certainly hasn't resonated with them in any way, shape, or form. I wonder over history whether the elimination of folks such as Muhammad Ali, to a lesser extent Martin Luther King, to a greater extent Malcolm X, these people are maybe not even names that these kids know. I've discovered recently folks who are, maybe 3 or 4 years younger than me that know very little about the Second World War. And it always strikes me as strange when you encounter groups of people to realise that your life experience is not their life experience. And I wonder going forward whether Muhammad Ali has really any importance. I mean, this isn't a very socially conscious conversation to have, but it just strikes me as amazing that these kind of folk are not part of a general discussion that is told generation after generation after generation. That history is summarized, a lot of people are removed because they don't fit into the pro-war, America, uber alles kind of narrative. And for that reason, the people that write textbooks, the people that teach textbooks, discard this kind of information. So as I sat at the lake enjoying the view, but really not enjoying the conversation of the lifeguards, I realized to myself that unless people actively talk about Muhammad Ali, his death indicates the end of the era of his ideas and his perception. And I suspect probably going forward, particularly because his sentiment was so anti the dominant narrative, he'll be watered down, he'll be eroded, and he'll be forgotten. And unfortunately, this is indicative of the kind of system, the kind of establishment that he railed against. But unfortunately, the way in which this thing is constructed is associated with eliminating people like Muhammad Ali, eliminating their narrative, and creating a circumstance where children going forward will not know who he was in any social context and will not understand what he meant to people such as myself, and in particular a previous generation. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.